Well, great. Stephanie tells me she promised you a short meeting, and that's cool. I know, because I know Josh Stevenson, for instance, is trying to sort through what tomorrow's schedule is going to be with his band. And when's the first game, Josh? Or have you guys already had it?
First game, home game was last Friday.
Oh, how'd the band do?
They did great, and the football team won. So it was a packed house. Really, it was a really nice night. Actually, beautiful weather.
And are you guys ready for Huff?
The band is.
Okay, good. All right.
I know that's going to be a big challenge for our boys. I think there's already been some smack talk from what I hear online about the Huskies versus the Mooresville Blue Devils. So it should be a good game. We are going to take a pet band to the game, so we'll be there.
Oh, good. So I think Whittier and his friends will probably be over there for the game. So I'm sure you'll pick him out of the crowd. Well, everybody, it's good to have you with us tonight for our host training. And training is a really strong word. We just kind of want to provide you with kind of a sense of expectation. I don't know about you all. It's always helpful for me to know, what do you want me to do, and for how long do you want me to do it, and what can help me get the project done. And so hopefully tonight we can do that. Stephanie, you might want to, while I talk, call up the document that I couldn't seem to find just a moment ago, for which I apologize. While Stephanie has that for everybody, look, here's the primer. Here's the Cliff Notes version. Being a host family is the art of being attentive to someone without being a stalker, right? We don't want a new family to feel like they're being stalked by the Stevensons, but we sure want a new family to feel as though the Stevensons are a support mechanism, a place of contact for them as they make their way into the church. And part of the reason this host family program is so important, you all may miss sight of this sometimes, but we're not the world's smallest church. The average American congregation has 67 people in worship on a Sunday morning. The average Presbyterian congregation is about 165 people. We're at about 1,500 members. So we're not a mega church, but we're not a small church. And all of those acronyms and all of those programs and all of those people, we just assume that everybody knows. New people don't. And in fact, cultures like churches are really opaque when it comes to the language we speak, the acronyms that we use. For instance, remember, there's nothing intuitive about the phrase PW circle. What does PW circle mean to an ordinary human being? It means nothing. So someone needs to know that a PW circle is a group of Presbyterian women who get together on a regular basis, often monthly. Some studies have a piece of literature they study together. Other circles are simply an opportunity to have fellowship. But a new member who's a woman has no idea what a PW circle is unless someone explains it to her. The other thing that I think is really important about being a host family is not only being able to interpret who we are to people, but it's also to be that point of contact. You all, I think everybody in this call is roughly old enough to at least have seen and rerun the TV series Cheers, the theme song where everybody knows your name. One of the things that most helps someone feel like they're part of a group is when people can call them by name. And you're that person who's going to learn the names of the host family so that when you see them in worship, you can say, hey, Brandy and John, it's really good to see you guys. Or, whoever that family that you're going to be shepherding is. So, really that's your job. You interpret the church and to be a point of contact and familiarity and to help people feel like they're known by a church. So that sheet of paper that Stephanie sent out to folks gives you kind of a rough timeline, gives you some ideas of things you might be able to do with your folks. You will find, and this is the last thing I'll say before I turn it over to Stephanie to talk a little bit about this document, you'll find that your family that you're working with will probably at some level teach you what they need. Some folks have actually been with us for a little while. They already feel like they're a part of the church. They may not need a lot from you, but another family might literally be brand new. They've come 3 times and they're joining. So you'll get some cues from those folks as to what most helps them connect to the church. But that documents a good sense of what you might want to do about what period of time into the membership of the new folks. Stephanie, what else would you add about that document?
just that it's a basic,
There you go.
it's a basic timeline. You know, we hope that your relationship with them will last more than 6 months.
Yep.
But this is kind of a guide just to help you through the initial 6 months. So the most important thing, obviously, is to show up on Sunday. And if you can't, that's not a deal breaker. We can definitely arrange a time for you to meet your new family, because we have done that in the past. But coming on Sunday is the first and most important thing. By weeks 3 or 4, they will have kind of settled in, and we will share with you what they told us about what they'd like to do. That way you can reach out to them and see if they've gotten connected with any groups or Bible studies or Sunday school classes or anything like that. And then, like Peter said, from months 2 to 6, you just kind of use your judgment, and they really kind of tell you what they need or don't need. But like sitting with them in worship or inviting them to Wednesday night dinners, which we're going to start in September, things like that are just easy ways to make them feel like somebody remembers them and that they're being invited personally to something. And then, of course, if you get stuck in a conversation, there's some topics at the bottom there that help kind of facilitate a conversation with them. And that's basically it.
Stephanie, let me just throw two more things out to folks. One of which is a statistic that may be a little bit dated, but because I don't know that I've seen real survey data on this kind of thing in a long time. But with that said, once upon a time, for every 6 weeks that someone wasn't part of a small group, you would cut in half the likelihood that they would stay a member, which leads to the phrase, big churches have big back doors. If you're able to facilitate your host family making some connections beyond worship, that has proven to be fairly integral to helping folks indeed find a sense of connection. So if you're part of something that is life-giving to you, that's open, like part of the Connection Sunday School class, part of a PW circle, part of a men's fellowship group, I mean, fill in the blank. If you've got something you're a part of that's life-giving to you and it's open to new members, think about inviting the appropriate person or the couple or the family to whatever that event might be, because it's a great way to make sure that the experience of being part of the church is brought down to a small group level, which clearly has a role to play in terms of people being sustained in the life of a congregation. What questions for Stephanie or for me? We've done this a couple times. I talk fast. We make it sound like, of course, everybody knows how to be a host family. What might you want to know about the art of being attentive without being a stalker? What might you want to know about that timeline, or about the next couple of steps? And Stephanie's the guru for the next couple of steps. She's so seamlessly kind of shepherds this whole process.
Mm. Most of these folks are pros. Did you all receive the document in the email, the host job description? Okay.
Yeah.
So there's nobody that doesn't know what I'm talking about. Okay. Can everybody here on this call be here on Sunday?
Yes. Yes.
Yay. Okay.
And my
One-
husband Rocky apologizes. He was all ready for this and got called away for work. So, but he's committed to Sunday.
That's
We'll
great.
take him.
Stephanie, will we get any information about the person before Sunday, or,
Yes.
I mean, other than just the name? And
Yes, that's a great question. Thank you. I usually put together a document that has biographies and photographs, which I hope to have completed by tomorrow afternoon, but you'll definitely get that before Sunday.
okay,
You're going
thank
to get
you.
to see all the new members. Yeah, that's great, Judy. Thank you.
Stephanie, let me add one last thing, and then we'll see if there are any follow-up questions. And the last thing is just this: for all of our talk about the important role that you play, and it is important, and for the ways that you can help people get connected, and you can, I also don't want to make it sound like it's all on you, right? I mean, there's a whole community of faith. There are also the new members. And sometimes new members take their own time and their own path to getting connected. For some new members, the journey is a little shorter than we might have liked, but that's not always our fault or your fault. So even as we talk about the importance of your role, please, please, please don't let that be a burden on your shoulders. Let that be something that inspires you as opposed to make it feel daunting, because it isn't all up to you. And we're just thankful for the role that you're willing to play and to make some connections.
Yeah, that's a great point. Any questions?
I think be a neighbor is the summary.
Yeah, there we go. That could even be a shorter meeting, Tammy. If I just said that at the beginning, you'll be done.
That's right. Be a neighbor. That's it. Be a neighbor, not a stalker. That's our theme.
Yeah.
That, I think personally, that is so funny. Be a neighbor, not a stalker. That is hilarious.
We're gonna make T-shirts. Davidson College Presbyterian Church.
New host
Yeah.
family t-shirts.
Right.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys. And I'll be in touch with you before Sunday, but I'll definitely see you Sunday at 2:00.
2:00.
Thank you. We'll be there.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.